بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع الهدى. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome. Today we're talking about Itibaa, the importance of emulation and imitation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how do we manifest implementation of Itibaa? How do we practice emulation of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and realize it in our daily lives? And how do we be warned from and cautious about group partisanship, blind following of personalities, of certain ideologies or certain schools of jurisprudence, while at the same time being wary of and cautious of following any personalities blindly or falling into partisanship or sectarianism. So previously we talked about, subhanAllah, one of the traits of one of the most common political groups in our day and time, which is known as the Ikhwan al-Muslimin, the Muslim Brotherhood. And one of their traits and characteristics is that they praise anybody who agrees with them and dispraise anyone who disagrees with them. And unfortunately, we found in the United States many students of knowledge who ascribe to the Quran and Sunnah, who ascribe to Salafiyya, who ascribe to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, have taken the same methodology of them, where they praise anybody who praises their scholars and dispraise or refute or rebut or call somebody innovator or call somebody a kafir, anybody who disagrees with their scholars. So are they really following the madhab of the Salaf, or are they following the madhab of the mukhalifin min al-ikhwan al-muflisin? May Allah guide us and all of the Muslims. Ameen. So moving forward, I'd like to recall and mention a benefit from Sheikh Sa'ad al-Husayyin rahimahullah ta'ala in relation to this topic, in relation to at-taqleed and the dangers of taqleed and the importance of al-ittiba'. So he goes on to say in one of his articles, okay, and on his website, entitled Al-Farqu Bayna Al-Salafi wa Bayna Al-Murid Al-Sufi Wal-Hizbi. Okay, the difference between a Salafi and the difference between the Murid, okay, the disciple, the Sufi disciple, or the sectarian disciple. He says, as for the Sufi disciple or the sectarian disciple, out of choice of human slavery, and what a bad choice he made, he cannot abandon the shackle of the donkey in his leg or the leash of the mule in his neck, with which he is guided by his sheikh, by his leader of the sect or group that he is a part of. Okay? He cannot run away from his sect because he's tied by that rope of his sheikh in his neck and the chain of the donkey in his leg. So he is ruled by the sheikh, the imam of their particular group or sect or order, okay, or the amir of the congregation, okay, in relation to da'wah. Okay, we find this amongst the Jamaat al-Tabligh, okay, and specifically in da'wah. And behind these remuz, I guess you can say symbols or leaders, Okay? So the follower, the murid, okay, the disciple, is chained by their imam, their amir, their leader. And behind their leader, their imam, is who? The imam of these sects and groups is the shaitan, okay, who rules and governs and tells these shuyukh and imams what to do, okay, in the name of their sheikh, okay, and guides their innovations, whether they are intellectual innovations that are falsely ascribed to Islam. And even some of the modern day Salafis were not spared from the cunning of shaitan and his deception, where a number of them became followers of certain Salafi shuyukh. They were loyal to them and based their loyalty and allegiance based upon certain shuyukh and their ijtihadat and their opinions, and were hostile to others or whoever their sheikh ordered them to do, or ordered them to refute from, or ordered them to be hostile towards. Okay? So even some Salafis fell into this as well. May Allah protect them and protect us. Where they had the rope of the mule in their neck and the chain of the donkey in their legs. So they were deceived by the shaitan, who came as the name of their sheikh, ordering them to refute this one, to boycott this one, to stay away from that one, in issues of ijtihad. And they didn't use their intellects. They didn't ask other Salafi scholars. They didn't ask or research the issue themselves. They just blindly followed whatever their leader told them without asking questions or justifications. So they would associate themselves or disassociate themselves to their certain shuyukh and disassociate themselves from certain students of knowledge and different shuyukh, okay, based upon those personalities and not based upon what Allah Azza wa Jal had blessed them with for adhering to the revelation, adhering to the Quran and the Sunnah, as was the fiqh of the companions and the tabi'een and those who followed them upon goodness until the day of resurrection. So even some of our Salafi brothers fell into blind following, fell into group partisanship, fell into sectarianism, fell into hizbiyah, even though they may have considered themselves muttabi'een, following the proofs in the adillah. So it would be good if the affair just stopped with, they were just fell into some blind following, while at the same time saying or claiming that they were, Itibaa. They were practicing Itibaa, emulation, or following the proofs and evidences. However, it turned amongst many into something of extremism, okay, in certain shuyukh, certain scholars, okay, where many fell into calling their brothers innovators or calling their brothers wrongdoers and calling their brothers kuffar in whoever disagreed with their sheikh fi mas'alatin aw aktar, right, in one issue or the next. Okay, they would call other scholars and other students of knowledge who were Salafi, who were ascribing to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, Mubtadi'een, Mumayyi'een, Kuffar, and the likes of these things. وهذه مصيبة على السلفية والسلفيين. Now this is the word of Sheikh Sa'd Hussein rahimahullah ta'ala. And this is something, a calamity which unfortunately also befell some of the Salafis. Okay? لا تبرأ الذمة إلا بإنكارها باللسان والقلم. And one cannot free himself from it except with denouncing it with the tongue and the pen. حفظا لنعمة الله بمنهاج النبوة. Right? To preserve the blessing of the minhaj of the prophets and the messengers. Okay? May Allah make us from amongst them. So, and then the Shaykh, he ends the advice, he says, right? The advice to my brothers from amongst the Salafis, تجنب مشابهة المريد الصوفي والحزبي الذي يكون مع شيخه ومرشده كالميت بين يدي غاسله. And the advice to my Salafi brothers is to avoid the resemblance of the Sufi disciple and the sectarian disciple who is with his sheikh and guide and leader as if he were a dead person in the hands of his washer. And that's the end of the statement of Sheikh Sa'd Hussein rahimahullah ta'ala. So, subhanAllah, we find throughout the generations, and Sheikh Sa'd Hussein rahimahullah was from our day and time, where he himself actually witnessed this and observed this, some of the same things that I've witnessed here in the United States of America amongst many of the students of knowledge. Many of the students of knowledge who, may Allah bless them and aid them and guide them, resembled the Hizbiyah and the blind following of the Sufiya, of those groups that they warn from, but they don't even realize it. May Allah protect us all and return us back to the haqq. So, in contrary, I think that from the most important aspects and important things that we can do to unite the ranks and to bring about strength within the ranks of Ahl Sunnati wa Jama'ah, and specifically amongst the Muslims in general and the Salafis and Salafiyin in particular, is that we need to teach not only all Muslims but our brothers and sisters in particular the true meaning of al-Itibaa. Knowledge-based and practically based, while benefiting from the statements of all of the A'imma, benefiting from the statements of Abu Hanifa, benefiting from the statements of Imam Malik, benefiting from the statements of Imam Shafi'i, benefiting from the statements of Imam Ahmad and the rest of the great A'imma from the past and the present. Okay, benefiting from the statements of the A'imma of Ahl Sunnah, okay, in fiqh and aqidah and in adab, without being bigoted to anyone in particular, okay, and not blind following one particular person other than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide all of us to the truth and to true emulation and imitation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam upon the understanding of the righteous predecessors. And bi'idhnillah, in our upcoming lecture, we're going to read a little bit from one of my teacher's books, Al-Itibaa wa Usul Fiqh Salaf. Okay, Itibaa and the jurisprudence principles of the righteous predecessors, which you can find available online if you go to our organization's website at www.imacd.org. And if you would like a PDF copy, you can find it on the website, or if you cannot find it, you can contact us through that same website. We have a chat bot there. You can message us, and we will try our best to send out a PDF copy. Or if you would like to purchase a copy, there are some copies available online, I believe on the website lulu.com. That's LULU.com, and type in Itibaa and the jurisprudence principles of the righteous predecessors by Sheikh Wasiullah Abbas, translated by your brother Faruq Post. It's a very beneficial book. And bi'idhnillah, we hope to see you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.